So it's 1986, and an orthotist by the name of 𝘾𝙄𝙄𝙀 in Vancouver, Canada had a novel idea for a ligament knee brace. This interesting design featured a single hinge on the lateral side of the knee and a strap looping around the leg on the medial side that got tighter as the leg straightened. From these humble beginnings, the Unloader One concept was born. Today, we're going to look at how one of the most researched OA braces on the market has turned into a world-renowned orthosis for unicompartmental unloading. I'm Giles, clinical specialist orthotist from OSSA Academy. This is Classroom Catch-Up. The Unloader is a brace that is at the forefront of both technology and efficacy for patients requiring unicompartmental load reduction, but its concept started way before unloading was even considered in patients with OA. We're going to look at the timeline for the Unloader, including the products that have come along the way, the research support, and the technological innovations that have made all of this possible. So going back to the original prototype, it combined a complex polycentric hinge that followed the flexion cycle of the knee, but also had an element of rotational movement. The hinge was on the lateral side and combined with a strap that looped around the leg on the medial side. 𝘾𝙄𝙄𝙀 was fitting this on patients for use in sports like ice hockey to provide support to their knees post-injury, and it was getting good results. His son Dean had set up a company called Generation 2, or G2, which he joined in 1983. As the company grew, they began to see more and more patients with unicompartmental pain. They contoured the then solely custom braces to not only fit patients with varus or valgus angulation, but also provide additional force to try and reduce the load. At this time, the best way that was considered to do this was by increasing the bend on the hinge, aiming to use the rigidity of the hinge to reduce the load on the medial compartment. However, simply using a hinge to apply the force also created problems with the fit. As with increasing force, it generated pressure points in these areas and gaps in these areas. Also, for patients with medial compartment issues, the strap on the medial side was working against this force generated by the hinge, so at this stage it wasn't an ideal solution. It was also around the time that the high tibial osteotomy surgical technique was being developed, so the braces were being used to stabilise the knee pre- and post-operatively. The important part here is that the angle needed to be adjusted to fit the change in alignment post-operatively. The next stage in development was then to add this adjustability into the hinge of the brace, and the Unloader XT was born. G2 then caught the eye of an innovative prosthetic company based in Iceland that was famed for its silicone liners and carbon fibre feet. So OSSA acquired G2 in late 2003, and it was our first foray into the world of bracing. Aware of the outcomes from the Unloader braces that had gone before, the OSSA engineers set to work optimizing the function of the brace and starting to think holistically about the types of patients that are using the braces. The truly revolutionary part of the Unloader concept was the combination of this DFS strap curving around the leg of the two shells providing surface area. This combination of shells and DFS straps provides a pulling force to exert a varus or valgus force and unload the affected compartment. But what if we could increase the surface area that applies that force and balance the three-point pressure system? 2006 saw the creation of the Unloader One and the advent of the dual dynamic force strap brace method of unloading. Historic OA braces were based on rigid frames and strong big hinges. The Unloader One refined this pull force to apply unloading, as it simply requires large shells to transmit the force and straps that have got good tensile strength. Therefore, as you can see, the hinge doesn't play any direct part in the three-point pressure system, so it can be flexible to accommodate the varus or valgus attitude of the leg and now positions on the affected side of the knee. Using this innovative method means that you can design a brace more holistically to suit the needs of the patient with OA. Some of the key themes that were designed into the brace include being lightweight, low profile and slim fitting, easy to don and doff, easy to use, and conforms to the anatomy. So let's look at some of the features that allowed the Unloader One to fulfill these challenges. The pull mechanism allows us to use a lightweight conformable hinge. This was quite confusing to customers at first because they were used to heavier, bulkier hinges that apply corrective force rather than allow it to contour. The Unloader 1 is in the region of 50% lighter than the previous Unloader. The shells conform to the shape of the leg and utilise low-profile aerospacer padding with Sensil silicone to provide high levels of grip and keep the brace suspended. The braces are fastened using quick fit buckles, which require less dexterity when compared to threading straps through D-rings. The patient was also able to make quick adjustments to the upper DFS strap to increase or decrease the level of unloading dependent on their need. These changes started us on a path of placing great emphasis on designing a brace holistically to consider not only the knee joint, but also how the patient interacts with it and how it fits into their lives. The next evolution was the release of the Unloader 1 with SmartDosing in 2012. This changed how the DFS straps were adjusted by the patient. With a simple twist, it is possible to adjust the strap tension, and therefore the patient can fine-tune the level of unloading dependent on pain or activity. We also changed the thigh liner to doeskin, as we found that having high levels of grip from the Sensil on both the calf and thigh resulted in the brace slipping in some patients. Alongside the Unloader range, we have also brought out the rebound cartilage in 2014, which is designed to provide unicompartmental load reduction for cartilage-based pathologies through utilisation of the same 3-point pressure system. However, the rebound cartilage incorporated cartilage protection functionality, which involves an elasticated section to tension the straps to a higher degree of flexion. From feedback from patients, they like how the tension in the straps has a little give to them as they get closer to full tension. The next stage was to completely reinvent the whole brace and take the experience from our other braces, such as the rebound cartilage, to another level with the Unloader 1X in 2019. Whilst based on the same biomechanical principles and geometry, the latest iteration of the Unloader concept enhances the ease of use, weight, ease of donning, all in a lightweight, low-profile package. As you can see, the SmartDosing functionality has been sleekly added into the frame, reducing the bulk and complexity of the straps. The injection molded shells incorporate flex edge technology to improve the interface of the shells and the skin. The buckles are also dual action, so they tighten both the calf or thigh strap and the DFS, and they're easily snapped shut using the palm of the hand, improving the ease of use if you have poor dexterity or hand strength. We have also built in a degree of elasticity into the quick fit buckles to smooth the transition between fully tensioned and relaxed as the patient walks. From a clinician's perspective, the DFS straps are now adjusted from the front, so it's much easier and faster to fit. So this brings us to the current version of the Unloader 1X, released in 2023. For the first time, the whole Unloader range has gone over to black with a carbon composite hinge. Please watch the Classroom Catch-Up covering the hinge and Unloader range update for more information on that. The Unloader 1X is clinically proven to provide pain relief and functional improvements for people suffering from unicompartmental OA of the knee and degenerative meniscal tears. We look forward to continuing this journey and provide you and your OA patients with the support they need to live a life without limitations.